Welcome to the Irresistible You podcast. Hey guys, it's Amy, and I'm not doing a fancy little intro today. As a matter of fact, I had a episode that was already recorded, was scheduled, the show notes and everything were written, and was scheduled and ready to go for tomorrow morning, Monday. Today is Sunday. I it Let me just say this. I have been tossing in my head what I should do, what I should say, what I shouldn't say, and it's just not sitting well with me for me to have published the pre-recorded episode and to put it out there and to what that would look like, how that would come across, because to me that would come across very insensitive to what's going on right now, to the pandemic that's happening, that we are all experiencing and trying to navigate and not knowing what's going to happen next. And it just didn't feel right to me to move forward with that episode. It didn't feel right to me to move forward without addressing some things, without talking about the situation. And I have to say, it's this fine line, especially working online, to navigate of how can I contribute to the conversation in a constructive way without adding to the noise, without adding to anyone's fear and anxiety about the situation. And I kind of came to this conclusion that if I don't speak on it, if I don't say anything, that is also not the right answer either. So I just want to be very transparent with you to say that I don't necessarily know what the right thing is to say right now, but I'm going to just speak from my heart. I'm going to speak what I feel like needs to be said, what I feel like is the right thing in this moment to be said. And everything right now, I feel like really needs to have the caveat at this time, right? Because a week ago, 2 weeks ago, even when I recorded that episode, we were in a very different place. Yes, coronavirus was going on. Yes, things were happening. But as you know, even since Friday, things have rapidly just changed. And they've changed drastically and dramatically. And I had a lot of work to get done this weekend. And I found myself over the last 2 days not being able to get a lot done, not being able to focus, not being able to just sit at my computer and like bang the work out like I normally can. And then I started to feel bad about that. I started to feel like, get your stuff together. What's wrong with you? Why can't you just get this done? And I was going into that place of like judging myself for feeling the way I was feeling. And I just had to reckon with myself and be like, listen, it's okay right now to feel what you're feeling. It's okay right now to, you know, keep refreshing the computer and seeing what's going on. But we've got to also draw a line at some point and make a decision about what we're going to do with all of this. So that's kind of where my head is at. For my own mental health, I can't. It's a weird place to be in because I can't allow myself to just keep hitting refresh and looking at the closures and the cancellations and everything that's going on. I can't continue to mentally allow myself to do that, but I also can't stay ignorant to what's going on. So there's this middle ground of being informed, being aware, but then also not allowing it to consume my life. And so I am someone who doesn't believe in just living in la la land and pretending as if things are going on, because that's really dangerous. I would also say that's more dangerous than the people who are super obsessive about the situation. But being super obsessive about the situation and freaking out and having anxiety is also not the place you want to be. So there's like this middle ground. And like I said, I don't really have a super tight agenda for what I'm going to talk about in this episode. I just personally need to connect with you and address what's happening. I have some thoughts to share as well, and it just didn't feel right to me. So I may not have the right words. I may not say things the right way because we all are navigating something that we've never navigated before. This is not something we have experienced in our lifetime. This is ever changing, literally by the hour, even by the minute in some cases. And it does evoke a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. And fear for a lot of people shows up in very different ways. Fear shows up in denial. I have been following this coronavirus outbreak, pandemic, since it started. I am not a doomsday prepper. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I don't fall for that kind of stuff. But I have been pretty intensely following this from the very beginning because I just had that instinct that this is coming and it's not going to be good. And it was really frustrating on a personal level for me to see people that I had a lot more belief in, a lot more faith in, not taking this seriously. People that I know personally that were just like, having the entitled, it's not going to happen to me, it's not going to happen to us. I think, especially in America, there's this level of, I'm an American, nothing bad happens here, I'm entitled. And it was very selfish. And that was very frustrating for me. And so I did stay quiet on social media for a while about how I was feeling until late last week. I couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I had to say my piece. And I think now, I've had people be offended this week that I wouldn't shake their hand. And I think people are changing their tune. They're starting to realize, oh, yeah, this is serious, because it is serious. And again, we can't panic so severely that we can't focus on what we need to get done to protect ourselves and our families, but we also can't just walk around in this fantasy land bubble acting like everything is okay. And I will say that fear shows up in both ways. Fear shows up in, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. The panic, the people that can't even think straight because they're so panicked about what's happening. And it also shows up in the denial. It shows up in, it's no big deal, it's not going to happen to me, what are you freaking out about? That's a form of denial, which ultimately is a form of fear, okay? So you're going to see that from people. You're going to see people react in ways that shock you because this is new, this is different. But what we've got to remember is that we're all going through this together. We are all experiencing something very different together. And, nobody, even at like the expert level, they don't even have all the answers, right? So it's just a very different time. And so I just first, before I got into anything, I wanted to address the awkwardness, the awkward silence that a lot of people are having. I wanted to just address that and say to you, I don't know how to navigate this 100%. And I don't expect you to know how to do that either. But I came to a place today where I realized I'm at a place where I need to make a decision. I either keep hitting the refresh button or I take a different approach to how I'm thinking about everything. And that's what I've decided to do. And I know having a podcast, having a community, being a coach, having clients, I am a leader. And you and other people in this community look to me to be a leader. And I want to be a voice that you can listen to. I want to be a voice that you can lean on. I want to be a community that you can lean on in a time like this, because I don't think anyone really has the answer. And as a leader, you don't always have the right answer and you don't always know the answer. And to be a good leader, it's okay to say that. It's okay. What's not okay is to be in a leadership position and act like you know the answers when you don't. Because that doesn't build trust in anyone. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I wanted to address that. And I will tell you as well that the episode that was supposed to go live today was an episode that was helping to promote the training coming up this week. I have a virtual masterclass that I'm hosting on St. Patrick's Day evening, 8 p.m. And I've also gone back and forth as to whether or not that training would happen. And as of this time, it is going to happen. It's virtual. You're pretty much, a lot of us are at home. And I think it's a good thing to, because a part of me was like, you shouldn't be marketing things right now. It's not a good time. But then the other part of me is like, oh my God, what's going to happen to your business? And the other part of me is like, but people need to still hear positive messages. People still need to have another outlet to listen to, because this situation, this pandemic is all consuming if you allow it to be. And I came to the conclusion today also that for my mental health, I need to start consuming other messages like I usually do. I need to consume my podcast. I need to consume positive, empowering things that aren't just the cancellations and the suspensions and the stock market and the deaths and all those things, because it will do a number on your anxiety and your stress levels and ultimately your immunity, because stress lessens our immune systems. And I just need to balance that out a little bit more. And that's what that's what I'm choosing to do, because it's a choice. It's a choice that I am making. And, so with the training, I really went back and forth as far as like, should I be doing this? Is this not the right time? Is it going to send the wrong message? And I have made the decision as of today that the training is still going to happen. Because here's the thing. This situation, this pandemic, is a great opportunity for you to spiral out of control. This pandemic is the perfect storm for you to really, really spiral down the yo-yo diet, body hate, shame cycle. This is the perfect storm for you to shove the food in your throat, to eat for comfort, to just get away from all the noise and everything that's going on. And when the dust settles and you look back up, how are you going to want that to go? How are you going to want that to feel, in the sense of like, when the dust settles and we are back to normal life, whenever that is, are you going to then kind of be behind the curve even more with gaining weight, feeling out of control with your eating, not liking your body, not liking what you see in the mirror? Like, this is a time where we get to decide. We're either going to stay in control of our choices, or we're going to allow ourselves to kind of like just lay down. Like, when you see your dog and it lays down and it puts its legs in the air like it's going into submission. Like, we're either going to just go into submission to this whole pandemic and allow ourselves to be completely out of control. And here's the thing. Right now, everything feels out of control because, let's be very honest, it is. The world right now is out of control. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen an hour from now. What will be suspended, what will be canceled, where our kids will be, where our jobs will be. We don't know. So it feels chaotic. It feels out of control. And you have to take a step back and ask yourself and say to yourself, okay, this situation, I can't control it. It's completely out of my hands. However, what can I control in this situation so that I don't feel like I'm spiraling out of control with it? And when I ask myself that question, it's like, well, I can control my food and what goes in my mouth. I don't have to sit around and shove food down my throat as I'm hitting refresh on the computer to see what's canceled next. It might feel comforting in that moment because there's just so much noise and you're just jittering with anxiety. But I want you to go back to what I said a minute ago is like, where do you want to be when the dust settles? Because when the dust settles, we're not just moving on with life, right? When the dust settles, we're then going to have to pick up the pieces of what happens from the fallout of this pandemic. We're missing work. We're going to be missing school. We're going to be, behind on a lot of things. Life is going to stop as we know it for a while. It's not going to be normal for a while. And so when the dust settles and we can start to get back to normal, how do you want to feel? Because you're going to feel out of control then also, and you'll use that as an excuse. So I want you to really think about, like, saying to yourself, this is just something I say to myself, like a little mantra, is like, I have no control over this current pandemic. I can't control what's going to happen next. I can't control what will be closed and what will be shut down. But what I can control is my thoughts, and what I can control is how I'm dealing with the situation. I can choose to be informed. I can choose to be aware. I can choose to not be consumed by becoming aware of what's going on. I can choose to not zone out and be ignorant. I can choose to find this middle ground, and I can also choose to not eat my way through this feeling that's going on right now, this pandemic. I get to choose to not eat my way through it. I get to choose how I'm going to think and how I'm going to react to things. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel like you have a choice, but I'm telling you, you do. You absolutely do. And another thing that I like to think and say to myself is, in this moment, everything is okay. In this moment, I'm okay and my family is okay in this moment. Because if you start thinking ahead of the what ifs, if you start playing out these like horrible situations in your mind, you're going to just build and build and build with more anxiety. Okay? So I want you thinking about, what can I control during this time where it feels like, where things, not where it feels like, where everything is out of control. Okay? And we can choose to be mindful. We can choose to be mindful about how we're thinking and how we're feeling. And we can also choose to be mindful of the food that goes in our mouth. We can choose to make good choices with the food that goes into our mouth. And the next piece to that, when it comes to how you're feeling about your body and just about your mental health in general, yes, a lot of things are canceled. Yes, you better be if you're not social distancing yourself, that's a problem. We have got to make sure that we're doing that. So even if you're in a city and a state or a country where social distancing is not like mandated, you have to take that initiative. And so, a lot of gyms are closing, a lot of movie theaters, malls, a lot of indoor places like that. As of right now, remember that's the caveat, as of now, going outside is not canceled. So I would recommend that you keep moving, create some type of movement and exercise and activity into your life, because it is so vital to your mental health. And not use this as an excuse as to why you're not able to do that. If you're at home and you're not leaving your house to even go outdoors in the sunshine, there are a gazillion, bajillion workouts on YouTube, on your phone. You just Google and it's all at your fingertips. There is literally no reason that you can't still get your movement in. If you are in a place where you can go for walks outdoors where there aren't a lot of people, I would also recommend doing that as well. Now, I also have seen some public beaches are starting to close. I don't know how that's going to affect me here, but I don't need to go walk at the beach or the boardwalk for me to get my activity in. So I want you to you have to start getting creative and thinking of other ways and not just saying, I'm a victim to the circumstances, I can't do this, and I'm just going to sit here and like freak out all day long. All right, we have to make this decision. So let's just also address, it's okay to feel the way you're feeling. Because I told you for me, it was like I was judging myself for not being able to focus. And I text my husband because here's the other piece to my puzzle, guys. My husband is still out of town for work, and he's not coming home for a while. So I'm here by myself with my little girl and my dog trying to navigate all of this. And that in and of itself isn't easy, but then you throw a pandemic on top and it's like, whoa. And I was texting him and I was like, I just can't focus, blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, how could you? How can you focus right now? Right? Because it's like, yes, our work and the things that we're doing are important and it matters, but I feel like when you're in this place of literally life or death for some people, you start to really reprioritize what matters in the moment. But the show still goes on, right? There's still work that has to get done. So I want you to just not judge yourself for the way you're feeling, but instead to say, okay, this is how I'm feeling. I'm scared. I'm anxious. That's okay. But what am I going to do with this? Am I going to channel this into staying in a state of heightened fear and anxiety, or can I channel this into what can I do? How can I help other people? How can I take more control over what I have control over? You see what I'm saying? So it's okay to be scared. If you weren't scared, and if you're not scared, then I'm a little concerned for you. It's normal to be scared right now. It is normal to feel anxious right now. It is normal to your heart to ache for everything you see in the news that's happening to other people. It is all normal. But you have to figure out how to better take care of yourself so that that fear and that anxiety doesn't cripple you in your life. Okay? And I want you to speak, talk, bring it up. Don't hold all of this in. Let's use our community to do that. Let's use our free Facebook community as a refuge for you to come in and just say, I'm having a really hard time today. I don't know how to process my thoughts. And sometimes just someone putting a heart or saying solidarity or like, I hear you, sister, or just say, sometimes that's all we need. We just need that validation, and we need to reach out, and we need to not feel like we're alone. Because again, we're all going through this together. And so we need to lean on each other. We need to lean into our communities. And I want you to use our community as a safe place where you're able to do that. Because especially in our community where we're dealing with emotional eating, body hate, lack of confidence, these feelings and these emotions can completely cripple us if we allow it to happen. Okay? If you're not in the group already, you can request to join. The link is always in the show notes, so you can go ahead and do that. And feel your feelings. Like, just feel them. I know when you're going through it, you're just like, oh, I just need to go get some food and like, oh, just comfort food and deal with this. But it's like, it's okay to feel what you're feeling and just allow yourself to go through that. Okay. I did make a couple little like chicken scratch notes that I wanted to make sure I didn't forget on this episode. But that's really it, you guys. I just wanted to come on here and address the situation and let you know that I'm here, I'm listening, I'm watching, I am aware, and that I won't necessarily know what the right thing to say is. And maybe there is no right thing right now. It's just, let's just have this conversation of, we don't know what we don't know at this point. Arm yourself with what you need to know, but you've got to discern between hitting the refresh button too many times and taking control of what you can control. And I also want to just say, too, I didn't bring this up yet, but let's go back to some gratitude. Gratitude is one of the things that we practice and talk about a lot inside of my program, and I'm a big believer of gratitude. It's something that has helped to change my life. But if you are called to work from home and you're usually in an office, or your children have been sent home because the schools are closing, I want us to not just look at the oh shit factor. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. How am I going to pay the bills? What's going to happen in 2 weeks? Is this going to last longer than 2 weeks? Yeah, it's definitely going to last longer than 2 weeks. How am I going to get through this? What am I going to do? I want us to take a step back and flip the script and start to look at some gratitude practices as well. And I've seen a lot of really good posts out there recently where people are talking about this as well. Is like, this is, and I think it was some people that are from China that, went through this late December, early January, and they're just now starting to come down the curve of, people getting better and things starting to go back to normal. And they were saying how it really reinforced the importance of, family and what matters and friends and spending time with people that we don't normally get to spend, even our own families that we don't spend a ton of time with. Because we're always go, 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 busy, 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 bigger, bigger, better, more. And I think this is a reminder that that doesn't really matter. What matters is us taking care of ourselves, taking care of our health, spending time with our family, and also slowing down a little bit. And I think that's why I'm so frustrated when I'm seeing people up in arms that the bars are closed or social distancing is being recommended and mandated in some cases. And it's like, could your fucking craft cocktail not wait? Could your beloved vacation, yeah, it's canceled, that sucks, but you'll be able to do that later. If you don't do this, you might not be able to do that later. It's just like, can we get off of our own pedestal for a minute and stop thinking that we are the center of the universe? Because that is just, I'm so disgusted by what I've been seeing and people that I thought were just better than that, quite honestly. It's really bad. But we've got to just be more grateful. It's like, okay, your cruise is canceled. It's not like, I don't even want to say that phrase anymore. That's not the end of the world. Your cruise is canceled. Deal with it. Move on. It's not that serious. It's just not that serious to get so bent out of shape over a craft cocktail at the bar and a Carnival cruise. And I think we just get so spoiled and entitled to wanting what we want and having what we want in the moment that people just can't comprehend the fact that we just have to go to a place right now that's not the norm. We're just going to have to live in a time that's going to feel really different for a while. But let's use that time for better. Let's get out the to-do list. If you're stuck at home, how many projects and things have you said to yourself on the way to work? Man, I really wish I had time to do X, Y, and Z. I really wish I had time to go through that stack of papers. I really wish I had time to do my baby's baby book. I really wish I had time to clean out that, nightmare of a closet. Then use this time to do that. If you focus on the bad, you're just going to keep getting more bad. And yes, this is a shitty situation. It is a scary situation. It is a anxiety-inducing situation. But how can we make the best of this time? Because you're either going to sit around scared, bitching and complaining, or, yeah, I'm scared. I'm cautiously, you have that level of cautious, what is it? Cautiously optimistic. But let me find constructive ways to channel this energy. Let me channel this energy into like tearing apart this closet and reorganize it and getting rid of some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a matter of choice. It's a matter of how you decide you're going to deal with this. Because again, I'm going to remind you, I want you to think back to when the dust settles, things are going to still be chaotic for a while. Like, life isn't going to just go back to normal when the social distancing and the quarantining is over. There's a lot of catching up that this world and this country is going to have to do. And it's going to go on for a while. And so just because we get under the curve, you're still going to have a way of life that's probably going to feel different for a while. So how do you want to feel when that dust settles? Do you want to have another 20 pounds to worry about? That now you've got to stress out about that too? So you've got to think about that. Use this time to bond with your families more. Get on FaceTime if you can't, go and see your parents or your extended family or your friends. Get on FaceTime and drink your craft cocktail with them on FaceTime. We got to get creative with the way that we're positioning ourselves in this crisis. Okay. And again, please know that you can come into the community and use this as a place to share, to just have solidarity with other people that are going through it too. Because I think that really matters. And, I'm a very emotional person. And when I'm looking at, I've been seeing these articles, and it's not all doom and gloom. These articles, like in Italy and Spain, where people are going onto their porches, onto their decks, and it's so funny that I just like kind of laughing of course Italians have like musical instruments inside their homes. I love it. I freaking love it. And they're going onto their balconies and they're singing with each other, and I'm gonna tear up thinking about it because not everything is bad. And I think it's those little like pockets of hope of humanity that we have to hang on to and know that we're not enemies with each other. And that to me is just it's really beautiful to see that. And to not just focus on the idiots that are killing each other and fighting inside of the grocery stores over, water and toilet paper. It's not all bad. And so there was also one in Spain too, where they were singing to the hospital workers, so we have to keep those people, whatever your religious preference is, I keep those people in my prayers and I think about them because they're on the front lines. And that's a big part of this, guys, keeping ourselves socially distanced. It's about protecting the vulnerable populations. It's about protecting the healthcare workers that are going to get sick from working in this. And it's also about all of us that don't, you could have an emergency or something happen to you or a family member. And if we don't do this, we may not have enough people to take care of them or to take care of us. So we've just got to do what we've got to do. We've got to get through this. We will get through this, and hang on to those glimmers of hope and positivity. And please infiltrate your mind with things that are empowering. Start listening to more podcasts. Start watching more videos that aren't just the news and what's going on. Start reading more books. Like, you've got the time, now's the time to do that, right? And we get to make that choice about how we handle the situation. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to feel good all the time? Hell no. But again, we've got to have that balance. So this episode, like I said, this was not the plan today. This is not how this was supposed to go, but this is the situation we're in right now, and I just wouldn't feel right to have published what was on the books for today. It just wouldn't have felt right. So, yeah, that's really all I can say about that for today. I wish everyone the best of luck, all the health in the world. Please take care of yourselves. Please try and stay healthy. Do everything in your power to take care of yourself and those around you. And again, guys, we're going to get through this. We're going to get on the other side. The dust is going to settle. And again, come into the group, share how you're feeling, lean on us. That's what we're here for. I love you guys so much. I will talk to you on the next one and inside the group. And until then, stay irresistible. Bye, guys.